Welcome to the Deep Dive. Today we're doing something truly special. We're embarking on a deep dive into the mind of one of history's greatest scientific thinkers, Stephen Hawking. And we're doing that through his remarkable book, Brief Answers to the Big Questions.
Yeah, it's an amazing book. It was completed after his death, wasn't it, by his colleagues and family.
That's right. And it's really a collection of his final thoughts on, well, the biggest questions out there.
And it's worth mentioning, too, that some of the royalties go to support the Motor Neurone Disease Association and the Stephen Hawking Foundation, which is great.
Absolutely. So our mission today is to sort of unpack the most critical insights from his writings. We want to give you a shortcut to understanding these really profound ideas that, captivated Hawking his whole life.
And before we dive into the deep science stuff, it's maybe worth painting a picture of the man himself beyond the icon.
Yeah, good idea. What was he like?
Well, he was incredibly multifaceted. Eddie Redmayne, the actor who played him.
Theory of everything, yeah.
Yeah, right. He described him as having this extraordinary power and vulnerability, but also a playful wit, kind of like Einstein, he said. And even compared him to the Joker for his puppeteering nature and James Dean for his glint and humor.
Wow, that's quite a mix. Joker and James Dean.
It paints a picture, doesn't it? Genius, but with this, mischievous streak.
Definitely a force. And someone deeply connected within the scientific world, too. Like his friendship with Kip Thorne, the physicist.
Oh, yeah, lifelong friends. Thorne even took him to Moscow during the Cold War, apparently to meet some top Soviet scientists who couldn't travel.
That just shows that drive, doesn't it? That relentless quest for knowledge and exchange.
Absolutely. That was his whole thing. Understanding the universe, our place in it, where we came from, where we might be going.
Okay, let's unpack that then. His scientific philosophy, it was all about asking the big questions, wasn't it?
Fundamentally. He really believed science offered better answers, or at least, more consistent ones, than religion or superstition, especially for those massive questions like, where did we come from? Or how did the universe begin? And he was passionate about making it accessible, right, not just for scientists.
Totally. He felt the basic laws governing everything could be understood by anyone if explained clearly, without all the complicated maths. That was key to his writing.
You can see that curiosity starting really young, taking things apart.
Yeah. Though he admitted he wasn't great at putting them back together.
I can just picture him as a kid, checking out where that V-2 rocket landed near his house during the war. That same intensity.
It's amazing how early it showed. His classmates nicknamed him Einstein, even though his grades were apparently pretty average.
And his dad encouraged the science interest.
Yeah, his father was a doctor, pushed him towards Oxford.
Right. And at Oxford, his PhD supervisor wasn't Fred Hoyle, which he joked about later. Yeah, he was supervised by Dennis Sciama. Hawking quipped it saved him from defending Hoyle's unpopular steady-state theory, said it would have been harder than negotiating Brexit. Classic Hawking humor.
And then, of course, the motor neuron disease diagnosis in his third year, a huge turning point.
Absolutely devastating. But getting that fellowship at Gonville and Caius College in Cambridge, that was crucial. It let him keep doing his research despite, everything.
And he passed that spirit of inquiry on to his kids, too.
He did. He told his son, Tim, never to be afraid to come up with an idea or a hypothesis, no matter how daft it might seem. Just keep asking questions.
Okay, so with that spirit, let's tackle one of the biggest. The beginning of the universe. Historically, you had creation myths, like the Boshango god Bumba vomiting the sun.
Right, or Bishop Ussher calculating the start date as 4004 BCE. People have always tried to answer it.
And Aristotle thought it was eternal.
Yeah, he figured something eternal was more, perfect than something created. Plus, there was that puzzle. Why is the night sky dark? If stars went on forever, shouldn't the whole sky glow? The darkness itself hints at a beginning.
Until Edwin Hubble in the 1920s.
That was the game changer, discovering other galaxies and, crucially, that they're moving away from us.
Meaning the universe is expanding.
Exactly, which implies if you run the clock backwards, everything started from a single point, maybe 10 to 15 billion years ago.
But that idea of a beginning wasn't popular with all scientists initially.
No, definitely not. Theories like the steady-state model or that Russian bouncing universe idea, they tried to avoid a definite start point, partly because, a beginning seemed to need a beginner, an outside agency, or, God.
And this is where Hawking and Roger Penrose came in.
Right. Their work on singularity theorems showed that if Einstein's theory of general relativity is right, the universe must have had a beginning, the Big Bang.
And Hawking's conclusion from that was pretty stark.
Yeah. He basically said, you can't get to a time before the Big Bang because there was no time before the Big Bang.
So no time for a creator to exist before it all started.
That was his logic. He called the universe the ultimate free lunch.
Explain that analogy. How could something come from nothing?
Okay, so imagine you build a hill. To build the hill, that's positive energy, right? You have to dig a hole that's like negative energy. If the hill and the hole perfectly balance, the total energy is zero. So the universe, with its positive energy like matter and radiation, and its negative energy, which is sort of stored in space itself through gravity, could potentially just appear from nothing because the total energy adds up to zero.
A universe from nothing, balanced out.
It's a way to think about it, yeah. It connects it to quantum mechanics, too, where particles can, pop into existence briefly. So maybe a tiny early universe just appeared.
So for Hawking, God was more like the laws of nature themselves.
Pretty much. He said, if you believe in science, like I do, you believe that there are certain laws that are always obeyed, which is different from Einstein's God does not play dice. Hawking thought the evidence showed God was a gambler, that randomness is built in.
Okay, from the universe's start to another huge mystery, black holes. The idea wasn't totally new, right? John Mitchell's back in the 18th century.
Yeah, he proposed dark stars, objects so dense light couldn't escape, but it was theoretical. Einstein himself wasn't keen on the idea of stars collapsing like that.
It took John Wheeler later on.
Wheeler really pushed it forward in the 50s and 60s. He coined the term black hole, and he came up with the no-hair theorem, which is really important.
Why is that? What does no hair mean?
It means a black hole is incredibly simple from the outside. All the complex details of whatever fell in are lost. All you can measure is its mass, its spin angular momentum, and its electric charge. That's it. No other features or hair.
That simplicity sounds almost too simple.
Well, yeah, and that's what leads to the big puzzle, the information paradox. But first came Hawking's big discovery about them not being completely black.
Hawking radiation, they actually emit something.
A tiny amount. And they have a temperature, the Hawking temperature.
How cold are we talking?
Unbelievably cold. For a black hole the mass of our sun, it's like 0.000000006 Kelvin, barely above absolute zero.
Wow. And that formula is on his headstone.
It is, in Westminster Abbey. Shows how fundamental it was.
And this radiation linked black holes to entropy, thermodynamics.
Exactly. Entropy is basically a measure of disorder or hidden information in a system. Jacob Bekenstein first suggested a black hole's surface area, its event horizon, might be related to its entropy.
Like the surface holds the memory.
Kind of, yeah. Hawking then proved it. The entropy, the amount of hidden information, is directly proportional to the area of the event horizon. It's like the surface is the storage disk, in a way.
Okay, but then comes the paradox. If the black hole eventually evaporates via Hawking radiation, what happens to the information stored on its surface?
That's the information loss paradox. Hawking initially calculated that the radiation coming out was random, thermal. It didn't seem to contain the original information. So if the black hole disappears, the information about what fell in seems to be lost forever.
Which breaks a fundamental rule of quantum physics.
Exactly. Quantum mechanics insists that information can't just be destroyed. It has to go somewhere. This contradiction between general relativity and quantum mechanics had physicists tearing their hair out for decades.
So what's the latest thinking? Did Hawking have ideas towards the end?
Yes, he worked on it right up until near the end, with Malcolm Perry, Andy Strominger, Sasha Hakalo. Their recent research suggests there might be subtle imprints on the event horizon. They called them soft hair, like supertranslation hair, and superrotation charges.
Yes, again.
Yeah. The idea is these incredibly subtle quantum effects on the horizon might actually encode the information of what fell in. And maybe this information does get carried away and coded somehow in the outgoing Hawking radiation.
So quantum mechanics might be safe after all.
That's the hope. The work is ongoing, but it points towards a resolution where information isn't lost. It really highlights what Kip Thorne said in his eulogy.
Newton gave us answers. Hawking gave us questions.
And Hawking's questions themselves keep on giving. Absolutely.
Okay, moving from black holes to forecasting the future, there was this old idea of scientific determinism from Laplace.
Right. Pierre-Simon Laplace. His idea was basically, if you knew the exact position and speed of every particle in the universe at one moment.
You could predict everything, past and future, like a giant clockwork.
That was the vision. But it has problems. Big ones.
Like chaos theory. The butterfly effect.
Yeah, that's a practical problem. Tiny changes having huge, unpredictable effects makes perfect prediction impossible in practice. But there's a more fundamental problem. quantum mechanics.
How does that break determinism?
Well, first Max Planck showed energy comes in packets, quanta, then Werner Heisenberg's uncertainty principle in 1927. That was the killer blow.
Can't know position and speed precisely at the same time.
Exactly. You fundamentally cannot get the perfect starting information Laplace's idea requires. There's an inherent fuzziness, a randomness built into nature.
Even though Einstein hated it.
Yeah.
God does not play dice.
Yeah, he thought the randomness was just temporary, that there were hidden variables underneath we hadn't found yet.
But experiments proved him wrong.
John Bell's experiments, yeah. These strongly suggest there are no hidden variables. The randomness seems real, as Hawking liked to say. Even God is bound by the uncertainty principle. All evidence suggests God is an inveterate gambler.
And black holes add another layer of unpredictability.
They do, by hiding information completely once something crosses the event horizon. You just can't know what's inside.
So if the future is fuzzy, what about time travel? Einstein's theories opened the door, didn't they?
Special relativity showed time isn't absolute. It depends on how you're moving. Hence that limerick.
The young lady of white who arrived the previous night.
Exactly. And then general relativity showed mass and energy warp space-time. Theoretically, you could warp it enough to create shortcuts, like wormholes, which could potentially allow travel through time.
Where are all the time tourists? Hawking had a fun experiment for this.
He did. The party in 2009. He held a reception, champagne, the works.
But only sent the invitations after the party was over.
Genius, wasn't it? And guess what?
Nobody came.
Nobody. Which supported his idea, the chronology protection conjecture.
Meaning the laws of physics themselves prevent paradoxes and macroscopic time travel.
That's the conjecture. He thought quantum effects, like virtual particles, might become incredibly intense near any potential time machine, effectively stopping it from working or making those paths through spacetime highly improbable.
So probably no going back to meet the dinosaurs.
Probably not. Though he didn't completely rule out rapid space travel, or maybe weird effects if things like M-theory are correct.
M-theory. What's that, and why might it change things?
Well, M-theory is a candidate for a theory of everything. It tries to unify all the forces. The key thing is it proposes extra dimensions beyond the 3 space dimensions and 1 time dimension we know. Like maybe 11 dimensions in total.
11 dimensions, where are the others?
Curled up, incredibly small, supposedly. Too small for us to see or interact with normally. But if they exist, and if we could somehow access or manipulate them, well, that opens up possibilities for manipulating space-time in ways we can barely imagine. It's very speculative, though.
Okay, let's shift from theoretical possibilities to more immediate concerns. Humanity's future. Hawking had some pretty stark warnings.
He really did. He pointed to the doomsday clock getting closer to midnight. Things like nuclear war, climate change.
He thought we might not make it on Earth long term.
He put a time frame on it, didn't he? Something like, we'd likely cripple the planet within the next 1,000 years, whether it's asteroids, pandemics, nuclear war, climate change, overpopulation. He saw major threats piling up.
A really bleak outlook. But he had a solution in mind.
A very clear one. Move out into space. Explore and colonize other planets. He saw it as essential for long-term survival.
Where did he think we could go?
Well, the obvious first steps are the moon, maybe Mars. Mars has ice, minerals, potential resources. Then further out, maybe moons like Jupiter's Europa might have liquid water under the ice, or Saturn's moon Titan, which has a thick atmosphere, though it's freezing cold.
But getting there, the distances are just mind-boggling. Alpha Centauri, the nearest star system.
With current rockets, it would take something like 3 million years. Just not feasible for interstellar travel.
But he was involved with that breakthrough Starshot project, wasn't he?
Yes. A really visionary idea. Tiny probes, starships, attached to light sails.
Pushed by giant lasers from Earth.
Exactly. The goal is to accelerate them to maybe 1/5 the speed of light. If they can do that, they could reach Alpha Centauri in just over 20 years, not millennia.
And potentially send back images of planets like Proxima b.
That's the dream. Of course, the engineering challenges are massive, surviving the launch, the cold, radiation, communicating back.
But Hawking was optimistic.
He generally believed that engineering problems tend eventually to be solved. He really felt space colonization was shifting from science fiction to potential science fact.
Okay, one last major topic he addressed. Artificial intelligence. Possibly our greatest invention. Or our last.
That was his framing, yeah. Intelligence is what defines us, drives civilization. He had a broad view of life, too.
including computer viruses.
Yeah, he described them as a program that replicates and reprograms a host, much like biology. He even joked it says something about us that the only life form we've created so far is purely destructive, life in our own image.
And AI is advancing incredibly fast now.
Unprecedented speed. Speech recognition, self-driving cars, computers beating humans at Go. The investment is huge. And the potential benefits are immense, too, fighting disease, poverty, amplifying human intelligence.
But then comes the warning. What was his core fear about AI?
His deepest concern was that AI could reach a point where it starts improving itself. Take off on its own, he said, and redesign itself at an ever-increasing rate.
A runaway intelligence explosion.
Exactly. And humans, stuck with slow biological evolution, simply couldn't keep up. We'd be superseded.
He also worried about more immediate risks, like AI weapons.
Definitely. An AI arms race, creating autonomous weapons, the Kalashnikovs of tomorrow, he called them. Weapons that could decide to kill without human intervention. Terrifying.
And he wasn't just warning, he got actively involved.
He did. He signed that open letter with Elon Musk and others calling for caution and research into AI safety, and he helped launch the Leverhulme Center for the Future of Intelligence at Cambridge.
What's the goal of that center?
To specifically study the societal impact of AI, the risks, and crucially, how we can ensure it remains beneficial and under human control. It shows how seriously he took the threat.
His warning was pretty stark. With AI, we may have only one chance to get it right.
A chilling thought. But he wasn't without hope.
What was his hope for the future regarding technology?
His hope was that our wisdom would keep pace. He talked about the race between the growing power of our technology and the wisdom with which we use it. He hoped wisdom would win.
Wow, we've covered so much. From the Big Bang, black holes, time travel, to space colonization and AI. Hawking's range was just incredible.
It really was, and his ability to take these incredibly complex ideas and make them, well, understandable, even engaging. Always with that touch of humor, too.
He really did travel the universe with his mind, didn't he? Despite everything. Always pushing, always asking those deep questions.
Like Kip Thorne said, the questions keep on giving. His legacy isn't just answers, it's the ongoing quest he inspired.
And he believed understanding this stuff, understanding science, is vital for everyone, right? For making decisions about our future.
Absolutely. His famous advice, look up at the stars and not down at your feet. Be curious, ask questions, never give up. Our future depends on it.
So, as a final thought for you listening, what concrete, world-changing idea did Hawking really want humanity to implement? What was his practical call to action?
He was actually very clear about it in the book. Two things, really.
Okay.
Develop fusion power for basically unlimited clean energy and switch globally to electric cars. He saw tackling climate change and energy needs as the immediate practical key to ensuring our survival, allowing us the time to pursue those bigger goals like space exploration.
Fusion power and electric cars. A tangible goal from a mind that explored the cosmos.
Yeah. It really grounds his cosmic perspective in practical action for today. Definitely gives you food for thought.
It certainly does. Well, thank you for joining us on this deep dive.
Fascinating.
Until next time, keep that curiosity burning.